that you participated in this webinar, that we are honored to have Dr. Dimitrios Dimitriou and Dr. Aristi Karagkouni from the Democritus University of Thrace to present their work. Dr. Dimitriou has doctoral degree econometric modeling for quantitative demand forecasting transportation, master degree in airports planning and management, master degree in infrastructure environmental management, and diploma equivalent to 4 years bachelor and 1 year master in civil engineering. He has 25 years professional experience, shared 3 pillar activities in education, research, and management transportation sector. He is globally recognized with his research outputs includes more than 300 journal papers and the high impact factor journals. He participated in 21 large research projects. In 2018, he awarded by the Professional Achievement Award in Europe, Greece, by the British Council for the Study United Kingdom Alumni Awards. On the other hand, we have with us Dr. Karagkouni, that she has doctoral degree in Sustainable Development and Management and Infrastructure for the Democritus University of Thrace, a master degree in Environmental Management for Business from Cranfield University, United Kingdom, and diploma in civil engineering from Greece. She is currently a postdoctoral researcher in the Department of Economics at the University of Thrace, Greece, and her research field is sustainable development and management infrastructure. She has participated in more than 50 publications, scientific missions, journals, international conferences, workshops, and so on. In addition, she participates in the organizing committees for international conferences, that is every 3 years, on specific topic for intermodal transports, innovation in planning management, business development, decision making. Also, I would like to thank the WTS FAU student chapter that they put this together. Please send any questions that you have to Zoitsa, that she's going to moderate the Q&A. Of course, during the Q&A, they have the availability to talk directly to the speakers. Thank you. Dr. Dimitriou.
Thank you again for the invitation. We are very happy and very glad to participate in that event. We share the presentations with Dr. Karagkouni, a very close colleague of our team. I think that Aristi, you can share very nice the presentation. Also, please, here it is very, very nice. So, the topic today is about the digital transformation in supply chain and transportation sector in general, and with a special focus to the transportation infrastructure, integration, and interoperability. Those topics are very, very attractive in the society, in the business society, because of the huge benefits that achieved for the transport enterprises and the transport ecosystem, business ecosystem, if you wish, regarding the modern era of mobility in cities, but also in the urban areas. We have organized our presentations in 40 minutes to 45 minutes in order to give the floor for 15 minutes discussion, if you wish. And we are more than open for any questions that you have, because you understand that this topic is huge, cover a lot of angles of a very, very large area of where a lot of public funds spent regarding the innovation, especially to the transport infrastructures. And transport infrastructure, as you know, covered under the term of critical infrastructure for any country, for any society. So please feel free for questions, because obviously we give you some hints, but we cannot cover the whole area. And if you have a special interest, please feel we are open for the discussion and give more details. So in the second slide, you can see that as Professor Kaiser present our, let's say, profile, we have made a lot of research on that subject. We have participated in the most of the international conference taking place in large conference, if you wish, in the last years. And also we have many projects, dedicated projects in Europe, focused on developing of research infrastructures. Research infrastructure means the research platforms covering the area of transport system digitalization. In the next slide, you can see starting discussing about, give you the overview of the transport sector. Transport sector experience a very huge growth. This is not, forget about COVID, area of COVID, because the area of pandemic, the era of pandemic is finished, but also during the pandemic we have a lot of interruptions in the transport system, so it's not an area that we're discussing for. So, but the previous of COVID years and also today, we experience a huge growth in transport system. This is mainly because of the changes taking place in the society and the innovation taking place in the digital trade and all this story behind the modern way for order things. The globalization of the economy, the development of the digital market, the multinational societies, the tendency of the people to travel a lot and visit faraway destinations, the development of the tendency of the new infrastructures, the new hubs of transportation, hubs like airports, ports, railway stations, and so on, to be like a city, to cover a lot of activities inside their territory, and the need of the clients for find services in that infrastructures have a result, a huge impact in the transport sector, where the growth in the demand, it's more than double than the expected growth of the economy. That means that transport sector being the headline of the business activity because of this huge growth, and the expectations for the future will be, it's expected to be essentials, covering the majority of the transport sectors, all the transport sectors, but first of all the trade by ships and also the air travels. We have, let's say, we expect there to have a very, very high growth, more than 5% annually, globally, of course. Don't forget that markets like in Asia, they maintain that growth, and we expect to have their huge growth because of the development of that markets. So globally, if we see the market globally, the expectations are very high. The next slide you can see now that in developed world, we see that there is areas that we have to focus on that one. First of all, the development of the digital economy, the benefits behind that. So, and the second one is the development and the concept behind the topic of sustainability and system resiliency. Sustainability, there is also a huge innovation behind that, where except the basic framework of 17th goals driven by United Nations, we have also the concept of circular economy that develop new challenges there, and the targets of the research society is to manage to monitor and drive results for the business society regarding the performance of in terms of sustainability, and part of the sustainability is the digitalization of the market. So you can see there, I will give you some reference in order to see there what is the state of the art in that sector, where we try as society, as research society, to evaluate the corporate performance in terms of sustainability, resiliency, and digitalization. And you can see that speaking about that in regional or national level, three are the pillars of evaluation. First one regarding the environmental impact and how we manage the effects in the environment because of the development, because of the growth of transportation. The second one is the technological innovation, how compliant, how close is to that innovation the enterprises that serving the transport system. And finally, the contribution after that to the society in terms of corporate social responsibility, but also regarding the welfare and well-being for the regional citizens and the regional social society. And this is the three pillars that we are working for. Total quality management and the comprehensive of sustainability, as well as also compliance with the national and international standards and regulations are critical part of that type of assessment. Mrs. Karagkouni, Dr. Karagkouni have recently presented a paper on that, and you can read it providing a lot of details, how we evaluate, how we make assessment in that part. In the next slide, we try to highlight that regarding speaking about digital innovation in a sustainable concept, there is a strong tendency in the market, especially in the top management, in order to see the degrees of the industry to meet the opportunities of this digital era. So there you can see the areas that we evaluate, and we try to make a benchmark with other companies, with other sectors in order to see the performance of the system. And the first one is regarding how a company, how an enterprise, a transport enterprise are increase the value of the enterprise, taking into account the digital transformation approach. Digital transformation approach means replacement of equipment, but also changes in the process, including in that process outsourcing and insourcing activities, because you can see if you we are with us in the previous presentations that we delivered a month ago or 1.5 months ago, you can see that the revenues, the revenue drivers for the modern transport enterprises, not coming direct only for the fares and the tickets, but or activities related to transport activities, but also relating with activities, with non-transport activities, as it is credits, as it is insurance, as it is trade, and so on. So this transformation in the value chain of the business is very critical and evaluated on that one. And don't forget that the value of an enterprise is not the commercial value of an enterprise is not just a measurement of the account value or the book value of a company. Many times the added value of a company is critical on that one, and this is very critical for the shareholders. So all this assessment taken place in order to evaluate the tendency, how the enterprise create value, develop value, measuring the transformations taking place inside in the company. And again, meaning about transformation is equipment, but also its processes. That is also very critical. The second thing is that digital effectiveness. I mean, how the business model is effective, is flexible to take to achieve that benefits of the digital transformation. The third part is the digital efficiencies, and this is here is an area of operational part, how the operational part control the cost, how the digital transformation reduce the cost, improve the operation efficiency, and so on. Finally, it's the digital replacement. You understand that you know from your personal, let's say, experience that any equipment, the technology replacement of equipment, it's a very critical path regarding modernization of your profile. The same happens in a company, in enterprise. We need to be close to the new technology, close to the replacement of the digital equipment, and this is also a critical part for evaluation. And finally, the movement from the traditional scenario of a development of a transport enterprises, or in other words, the movement of a company towards use the digital challenges compared to the business as usual, the traditional scenario of a company, it's also something that are taken into account when we make such type of assessment. And the issue here is, the target here is to develop and be innovated any transport enterprises to be close to the new digital era, to take the benefits of the innovation behind that, and be flexible to achieve the challenges and achieve the benefits of the digital improvement. The next slide, please. Here you see, for instance, a classical example that what is added value for enterprise. I give you just a figure to cover in your mind that Microsoft target LinkedIn, the value of the deal it was close to $26.2 billion, while a big infrastructure or a big port can be, let's say, privatized or can be selling the shares for a much lower price. You can see that the property or the development or the infrastructure of the natural infrastructure, the buildings and the assets of LinkedIn, it's very much lower than a port or an airport or a railway station or whatever. And the investments behind that are much lower. So the market assessed very high the companies that they use of data rather than the companies that use the assets. And this is because of the benefits of the profit margin that developed by the use of the technologies. So according to the economist, the use of data, the data for this century will be the same like the oil was to the last one. So it's a driver for growth, it's a driver for actions. So all the companies have to move there. In the next slide, please. So the digital transformation is a huge driver, a new driver for action for the transport enterprises, promoting destinations. So they are investing in the destination marketing, developing new services, improving their portfolio, change their portfolio of activities, including trade, including use of data in order to achieve revenues from this use of data. In other words, they have a very huge portfolio of clients and they try to take the benefits for the use of that large portfolio of clients. And this is the key revenue driver for the modern transport enterprise. And we will give you some examples later on. So the next slide, and I stop here, give the floor to Aristi. So the four pillars of activities for a modern transport enterprise include actions regarding strategy, and the key action is a new market development, and a new market development means remote destinations. In the planning part, regarding business planning, here we have to develop new tools, new applications, new framework for taking the benefits of the digital economy And this, behind that, includes huge values for our enterprise and for our shareholders, and the intellectual property part of that activities is something very, very important that we have to deal with. Regarding the competition, an analysis of the competition, and also information that we share to the users, to the market, it's a very critical part in order to achieve highest market shares. And this is something that also take into consideration. So innovation, which is the fourth pillar of business that have into consideration modern management and transport enterprises, deals with new products and new services, and also skilled jobs that have been developed. And this means that it's a big discussion about the new skills, new jobs that have to educate the younger professionals in order to achieve a marketplace. Internet of Things and smart application, and this story behind intelligent transportation system. This is a huge innovation behind that one, and the development of ecosystems in order for the better use of data. I give you an example on that. The development of enterprises alignments means strategic partnerships between enterprises like that happen in airlines. The majority of things is for taking the benefits of use of a platform regarding our clients, and the benefits of that one is to use new services like interlining, code sharing, meaning that companies collaborate for the benefits in order to have, let's say, to achieve the benefits without and reduce the cost of their operation. This is a critical part for the new development, and this is something as an example that we have to give you to focus, if you wish, to see how a modern management take into consideration all that innovation regarding the digital transformation. So the next slide, Aristi, I think is here. It's also something that you have to see, that we're speaking about decisions and resilient, sustainable decision for a transport enterprise. There is a lot of shareholders or decision makers that are involved in the process of decision, where all of that needs information. So the development of information systems and the use a system that collect directly data from our operation, it's very critical. And except of the typical part of the internal company, for instance, for an airport, the company to achieve all that data, also other shareholders needs to have an access on that data, like the investment banks that the financing the investments for an airport, the financial institutions, because they evaluate the market of the share price in the stock market to whatever it is, the governments, the social part, the social associations, but also the non-government organizations like environmental protection organizations, or let's say communities that they have to have an observation regarding the activity, and many others. So that means that the modern development of international business in transport sector is more than complicated in the past because of the huge involvement of stakeholders that are involved in the decision process, and the request from them for data is huge. So in any case, we have to deal with all that needs, and developing digital tools that provide all that information is a great challenge for the enterprises. Aristi, now the floor is yours in order to continue. I close the presentations from some key conclusions.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you very much. So, as Professor Dimitriou mentioned earlier in this presentation, in today's digital economy, this digital era we are facing, companies and enterprises have access to more data than ever before. So this data creates, let's say, a basis, a foundation of intelligence for important business decisions in order to make effective business decisions and to ensure that all the stakeholders, the employees have the right data to make this decision in the decision-making process. Companies and enterprises, especially in the transport sector, must invest in data management solutions, in effective data management solutions in order to improve reliability of this data, their accuracy, their security, and to move forward to effective decisions. So, as we all know, data management is this process, this practice of collecting, of organizing and storing, and of course analyzing an organization's data. So it can be analyzed for business decisions. And as organizations create and let's say consume data in very fast ways, data management solutions become essential, become very critical for making sense of these vast quantities of data. So today's leading, let's say, data management software ensures that this reliable and this up-to-date data are always used to drive effective decisions. And of course, the relevant softwares helps in this process with every aspect, from data mining, data preparation, to data governance, which is another essential part, in order to allow all users to quickly find the information they need for analysis in the decision-making process. So nowadays we are moving fast from what we call data collection and data analysis to machine learning and the development of intelligent platforms in order to manage data and of course make effective decisions. And platforms are these environments that connect different groups and derive benefits from other participating in the same platform. And in this framework, an effective platform strategy is essentially an approach to enter, let's say, a different market, which involves the task of allowing platform participants to benefit from each other. So in the traditional way, the traditional process of this strategy, it is generally assumed that these users, these customers, let's say, can determine their willingness to pay from the product or the service the platform offers. And I think that you can make a lot of examples in your mind of such platforms that we all use in our daily lives. So this is why the formulation of a platform strategy requires some advanced tools to help platform managers tackle all these challenges of value creation and value capture. So, for example, in transportation, in the transport sector, nowadays we are moving forward from carriers or mobility providers, what we call agents, to mobility as a service. Thus, we're moving forward to more integrated systems and more integrated platforms, which are capable of providing the full service related to our transportation. And another great example to keep this in mind is what we call Internet of Things, which accounts for a series of equipment, a series of applications that are capable of assist data management related to mobility and to transportation. So we have, in this digital era, we have many ways to, for example, to monitor traffic and facilitate safety on transportation, like OBUs, the onboard units, which could be sensors installed in vehicles for monitoring traffic, cameras, which could be installed in traffic lights for facilitating traffic management, equipment like gates or like drones, mainly used for inspection, not only in traffic management, but also in transport infrastructure or large infrastructure like bridges or tunnels, or in airplane fleets for example, identifying some potential damages in the fleet, in the plane. So, a critical, let's say, component of strategic technology platforms are ecosystems. So in these ecosystems, participants includes users, the platform developers, and of course the partners. And this ecosystem allows for best practice, let's say, sharing of the information. So in infrastructure managers and transport operations, engineering companies can now rely on artificial intelligence, what we call AI, not only to predict the system, let's say, failures, but also to assess long-term performance and provide services to customers. And this data produced in these subsystems, in these ecosystems, in these applications and platforms are capable to build this digital, let's say, representation of these entities of the systems. Some of these entities are the digital twins that I forgotten to mention to you before. And of course, there are such platforms, such integrated systems in the transport sector related to ticketing. We all know these applications, to security in airports, sales, product sales, and all this stuff that the customer needs nowadays in order to have easily this accurate information. And to give you a more brief overview of this system, a key area, let's say, of application is smart cities, what we call smart cities, which can work as a problem solver for many cities, as we will see. So key issues for smart cities applications, especially in Greece and cities like Athens, small cities of about 5.5 million, are related to, first of all, the rising congestion problems. Just keep in mind that travel congestion has increased almost by 10% in Athens since 2014. Of course, are related to pollution and its many implications in human health. Greek cities, most Greek cities, do not meet WHO's air quality guidelines. Are related to the vulnerability of human health to chronic diseases, as the life expectancy, of course, is expected to rise by up to 4 years by 2030. And of course are related to security from all kind of crimes and cyber attacks. Greece, for example, is in EU top 3 of least prepared cybercrime countries. And of course, these key issues are related to connectivity, to faster networks and this digital economy. So IoT, Internet of Things, technologies and the related services, and of course, effective data management could lead to significant economic impact in smart cities projects. And digital technologies and services improves, of course, the citizens' life by offering a new experience of city services through enhanced digital use cases, as we will see. And these cases, these services are related to smart parking services and all this that we call smart mobility services. And effective data management also could enable authorities and regulators and decision makers to make informed decisions and, of course, to improve the overall city management. These services, of course, could, as you understand, have direct and indirect economic impacts to the city and, of course, boost its overall GDP, as we will see in the next slides. Smart city projects and systems have, of course, a positive impact on the local community in terms of prosperity and in terms of sustainability. These long-term benefits are related to critical time saving for citizens, in connection, of course, with city administration, to less time spent in traffic and the decongestion of the city center, the decrease of the overall environmental impact of related to the city's operations, of course, a huge decrease in crime incidents and incidents of all staff, and of course an increase in citywide GDP. So a smart city is a city that addresses the needs of all stakeholders. These stakeholders could be visitors, citizens, the public sector, the academia, regulatory authorities, and etc. So a smart city can address the needs of all stakeholders through improvements to governance, to management, to resilience, and of course to integration. As we will see, a smart city is, in other words, an integrated system. And of course, it's remarkable that that more than 250 smart city projects launched up to 2017 in Europe and Asia Pacific. Mostly, the majority of them have been launched in Europe. And of course, it is critical to keep in mind that the maturity and the contribution of the projects to the city's overall GDP differs and are mostly dependent on its case. So we're talking about case-by-case scenarios. For example, we can see that city projects such as Dubai, Barcelona, or Valencia are integrated platform projects with high contribution to the city's overall GDP, while pilot projects have a much lower contribution. But this, I think it's critical to keep in mind that the first step, the key step in this process, in order to move forward from a pilot smart city project to an integrated platform projects in terms of smart cities, is marketing and and communication of all the services that will be launched and make citizens' life easier. Of course, we can see that as we have seen, data analysis has shown that these projects, these initiatives, if I may, need a period of almost 10 to 15 years before realizing their full GDP potential, which is estimated at almost 15% of the city's GDP. And as you can see, there are many projects from early 2000s until now that are still on board, are still running in cities globally. So if we're talking about the smart city value chain, this forms a wide, let's say, ecosystem with many possibilities for solutions and many use cases, starting with infrastructure services related to hardware development, with connectivity services related to network equipment and its operations, to system integrator with the development, management, and provisioning of all these vertical and cross-vertical products and services across different industries in the city. These services and these applications could be categorized into different segments, different key areas, from security and telecommunications to transport and logistics to building automation, and of course areas that are mostly related to the overall city governance, such as administration or financial services. And I think that this is a great scheme in order to visualize all these different services and segments utilization into the city's overall operations, what we earlier called this integrated platform, this integrated system. And of course, all these different segments are enabled, let's say, by a series of different layers, a series of different levels in order to accomplish the system integration, what we call system integration. And platform strategy, as you can see, is a key technology leading to all this digital and smart economy in the city by effective management, of course, of open and big data in all these segments, all these areas related to the city's operations. So smart city strategies are strongly related to platform strategy development in order to achieve this system integration. And this integration is related to factors affected, of course, by different stakeholders or stakeholder groups. So ecosystem, let's say, these ecosystem participants need to be able to read and meet the needs of and the interests of cities. Smart cities need attractive and, of course, more flexible financing options for implementing all these services and all these solutions, these smart services and these smart solutions. Smart cities projects are, of course, projects that have a significant system integration risk, which could be taken into consideration when we develop this project of smart cities. And of course, we understand that this process requires considerable effort from the most, let's say, interested parties in the decision-making process, from citizens to visitors, the administration, and all stakeholders involved in this process. So, in Democritus University of Thrace, in DUTh, we have analyzed all this information, and now we work on the Aristi Plus project in cooperation with 3 more universities in Greece. Aristi Plus is, I could say, unique and innovative national research infrastructure that supports and promotes research with a vision to be the center of excellence in the fields of shipping, transport, and supply chain in Greece. The project is a continuation of the Aristi project. Now we're in the Aristi Plus project, research project. The unique national research infrastructure in this sector, which started in 2019 and is expected to be completed in the forthcoming months. And in this context, the key goal of Aristi Plus, of our project, is to conduct synergies with the already existing and shaped and formulated platforms of the first project, of the Aristi project. We're talking about 6 platforms providing data and services in the sectors of transport, shipping, and supply chains, related mostly to passenger traffic, to infrastructure development, inland and intermodal freight, decision support tools, and many other services. And the main difference of this project, the innovation of this project, in relation to the old ones, to the existing ones, is first of all the emphasis in tourism sector, and that's expected to focus on excellence and innovation at a regional and not only at the national level, with most emphasis in remote regions in Greece. And in this context, our contribution will be focused and is focused on the region of Eastern Macedonia and Thrace in northern Greece. So in terms of this project, in terms of our contribution, the main goal, as I said, of the project is the development of an interactive and innovative and intelligent decision support system in order to improve accessibility to all kinds of infrastructure in region of Eastern Macedonia and Thrace, to cultural, educational, health, and transport and tourism infrastructures and networks in the region. The key objectives of these platforms are, first of all, the digitalization of data related to transport infrastructures and all kinds of critical infrastructures in the region, and secondly, the development of an interactive and intelligent decision support system in order to make the optimum planning of travel and, of course, selection of transport mode, improve accessibility of educational, cultural, transport, health infrastructures in the region, and of course strengthen, let's say, the transport ecosystem, which includes, of course, consumers and businesses and enterprises in the region. In the slides, we can give you an overview of how the platform works in reality. You can see that all data can be extracted in multiple forms, from tables to charts or graphs, and of course the platform is free to use, and we hardly encourage you to explore the platform, to explore its services and its capabilities, and provide us with the relevant feedback in order to improve it and get better and more efficient. The interface will shortly be available in English too. Now you can see it only in Greek language, so it will be much easier for international users like you to access the platform and, of course, access all its services. Now I will kindly pass the floor to Professor Dimitriou to inform you about our forthcoming research and scientific events.
Thank you very much. Just to highlight that we have a major event at the end of the year in Cyprus. We are let's say, group of 10 universities in Europe. We are discussing about develop common activities in that research part. Also, we have some regional activities that taking place in May in Thrace, but also we have a summer school, as already Professor Kaiser mentioned that taking place between 3 and 8 of July 2023 in our university, speaking about all that smart transformation of the business, focus on intelligence in transportation sector and in supply chain. And also through that week, that summer school, we have a time window of 2 hours or 1.5 hours discussing with our panelists, with our invited guest lecturers and speakers about very interesting things, and we make a webinar on that one. Will be informed through the FMRI network about that webinar that will take place in July, beginning of July. And also, next slide, please, Aristi. We have a large international conference taking place in November, speaking about the new concept of intermodal transportation hubs, like the development of a new tourist airport in Crete, which is a major, a very attractive tourist destination in Mediterranean, Crete Island. And also we have the 4th International Conference Symposium in Circular Economy, where a lot of our research output will be published there, and a lot of publications will take place by the end of this year on that subject. So circular economy, digital transformation, innovation in transportation systems are in a major concern of the research society and the business enterprises and the enterprises and the transport enterprises as well. Be connected through the newsletter. You receive all that information, and please visit our website in vip4i.com. That you can find the useful information and some data if you wish, and also you can request for data, or you can request for specific questions on that subject. Thank you very much. Please, questions.
Thank you so much, Dr. Dimitriou and Dr. Aristi. We have a couple of questions from the WebEx. We have a question from How Nigo. For the road freight transport sector in Greece, is there a problem with state funding and subsidies like fuel cost subsidy? Is it a part of for an enhanced system in the future?
You know, in Greece, we are very close to Crane, and also our location, it's a corridor for the transport goods, for the freights goes from Asia to Europe. So freight transport in Greece affected very heavily. The cost of freight transport in Greece affected very heavily from the economic crisis, also by the Ukraine crisis, the war crisis taking place in North Europe. However, and also the cost, the impact on the energy, of course. However, all this cost, the majority of that cost transformed to the client. This means that we have an inflation very high in Europe and in Greece as well, as part of Europe. We have a heavily impact in the prices of the consumer for the consumers, and also the state tried to make some, let's say, subsidiaries, if you wish, to support the markets, support the clients, support the consumers. Regarding the energy part, we have a huge innovation on that area because we have a transformation from the crude oil to the natural gas and other and also alternative sources of energy. And however, as you understand, shipping and road and freight by motorways or road freights are not very heavily affected by that shift. But regarding the cost of energy for the production of the products has a negative impact. I mean, the cost will be reduced. However, you understand that also regarding the general consumption for all the movements, all the car movements, all the consumption of crude oil for the mobility, we have a light substitute by the government for the periods that we have a peak in the prices. Today that we are speaking, we are in a phase that the prices reduced. I mean, it's reduced. So because of the because of the prices in the market, so it's not necessary. But for the periods like in February, where in the middle of winter, or where we have a huge level of prices regarding energy from crude oil and petroleum, that time we have a light subsidiary by the government for all the mobility, not just for the freight. One of the issues that you are raising in that question is one of the key reasons that we have a strong growth of the prices in the market. Okay, I mean regarding consuming. This is the policy that is affected in Europe. This is the policy that is affected in Greece as well. And the challenge is to transform the energy consumption to a more alternative solutions, means natural gas and also alternative resources by energy became from soil and wind, by solar and wind.
We have another question from Sydney Moore. From my understanding, the data collected is or will be collected using AI systems. Due to the recent popularity of ChatGPT, I'm wondering how you can deal with misinformation being spread into the system for smart city.
Aristi.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes.
Great. We have reviewed, as I said before, all these smart cities project, this integrated system around the world, and how AI have been used in order to collect, analyze, and in the end of the day, manage all this data in the system. And these examples of Internet of Things that I gave you before, now in our project in Arise Plus that I presented you, we are in the first, let's say, the primary level of the development of such a system. Of course, our vision is to be able to be part, to this project to be part of larger projects in smart cities or smart region in terms of Eastern Macedonia and Thrace, which is a big and critical in terms of geographical location and socioeconomic issues, a critical region in northern Greece. I think that it would be good for your understanding to take a look at this region and its capabilities and the challenges facing. Of course, we couldn't, let's say, give you the full framework in one presentation, but yes, our goal, our mission and vision as an Aristi Plus and as research team is this platform, this primary system development to be part of a smart region in Eastern Macedonia and Thrace and part of this system integrated.
Thank you. We have another question from Attilio. Which area of the transportation sector would you say benefit the most from the use of big data analytics, such as machine learning?
Just unmuted. all the transport modes, if you wish, are affected, but especially the modes that are dealing with clients, with passengers mostly, because the dynamic of the mobility result to needs more data regarding our choice. So in order to fit a modern mode choice model in urban, but mostly in the urban environment, the need of data are huge. Just to imagine, just to have a view of the alternatives that you have for vacations, for your vacation. So in order to have data on that one, in order to fit data on that type of models, and to have direct information about the prices, direct information about the transport options that you have in order to reach a place. This is, let's say, the most, if you wish, the area of more innovation that we are experiencing, but also in an urban environment as well. The use of public transports and the public transport, let's say, overview of performance is also an area for innovation, because now the system is going to flexible, or if you wish, to more, let's say, dedicated pricing schemes, meaning that we have to have a demand-driven pricing models that are in the modern, let's say, business planning terminology for public transport, because of the efficiency and the cost control and the revenues control of all of that systems. Please take into consideration that the passengers or the client-oriented transport enterprises, there is a huge area for revenues from the use of data, more revenues. More revenues means insurance, more revenues means credit cards, more revenues means loyalties, more revenues means more sales, advertisement, promotion, and all of this. So you can imagine that these sectors are heavily focused on that area of transformation, the use of data.
I think we don't have any other question from the WebEx.
Through the team of Professor Kaiser, please don't hesitate for any question. And I think that all the questions can you send us by email in order to respond or to give more detailed reference in order to find the more, let's say, coherent methodologies or approach that explain the question.
Do we have any question? Do we have any other question, Zoitsa?
No.
Dr. Dimitriou, would like to thank you. Okay, Zoitsa is going to wrap it up. I would like to thank you for this great opportunity, or this 2-3 lectures on the different angle of the freight supply chain. Also, I would like to let you know that this presentation is going to be forwarded to use DUTh, that they can distribute to their network. We are looking forward to see you on our campus, and also to participate in the future events in our center, and also in your group. Zoitsa?
We'll be posting the recorded webinar very shortly in our FMRI YouTube and FMRI website. And so this was the last webinar for this spring 2023 semester. So probably we are going to have more webinar in the summer and the fall. Everything will be uploaded or updated in our website. So thank you so much, Dr. Aristi and Dr. Dimitriou, for joining with us.
For us, it's a pleasure. Thank you very much. And I think, Professor Kaiser, we will see you soon.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good day.